loves, welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny, and I'm so grateful to have you back here on this channel for another video. So today I want to do a May energy report, but it came out really differently than I thought it was going to. Usually I would get like 5 points about the month and the energy that you could expect. And it was like so different this time. This time what came through was separate messages from three different beings. We have a message from Gaia, we have a message from the Council for Humanity, and we have a message from Metatron. And so, and together they all form a bit of a theme around energetics. And so I really am looking forward to sharing that with you. And I think that it's all guidance for the month of May, and it's all the things that we really need to be embodying and working on in this month of May and going forward. Of course, it's not just for May, but this is like definitely gives you an idea of what May is going to be like. It's going to be a month of self-mastery, and it's going to be a month of really being observant of the self and going within and cleaning up your energy around a lot of very specific things. And this is just going to serve you so much going forward. And this is a little bit of like calm before the storm of 2024, believe it or not. I know it kind of feels like it's been a little bit stormy already, but things are going to really progress energetically speaking going into the rest of the year. And so feels like this month is a little bit of a cocoon for us to take stock of where we're at within. And these messages are going to help you to do that. And it's just so important. It's really good. So I want to, before I blather on, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel for new videos every single week. Go ahead and like this video if you like it. Go ahead and comment on this video. I love to see your comments, video requests, whatever you have for me. I'm here for it. And then also, just before we jump in now to May's energy report, I wanted to highlight that I have a couple of ways that you can work with me more deeply. And the easiest ways would be if you would like to start the journey of discovering and mastering your gifts, then put a comment for me under the video called Psychic. So go ahead and comment the word Psychic, and I will send you my free psychic training. It's a psychic foundations training to really get you started working with the clairs and your energy and learning how to receive. And so if you comment that under this video, I will make sure to reply with the link to that free training. Alternately, if you are a spiritual online business owner and you are looking for more from your experience as an entrepreneur, and you are really ready to build that multi-tiered empire that is going to support you so much, support your time freedom of your schedule, support you energetically and emotionally and financially, and bring that fulfillment that you're looking for, and feel like such a stable force around you, right? It's a very different feeling having an empire supporting you than just running a business, which feels like you're always trying to catch up, and it feels very hectic, just trying to always make ends meet, and it can be really difficult. And it feels very different having like a beautiful soul empire with aligned automations, client retention, passive income, recurring revenue, and all of those things that are really meant to support you and to help you kind of like step into that new earth leader blueprint and be the example of what that is, using your gifts and service to the light and to humanity and all of those things. So anyway, if that's you and you are an online spiritual business owner and you are looking to grow and you are looking to break through to your next level, then just put the comment on this video, CEO, and I will message you and let you know all of the different options that I have right now for Starseeds in business to work with me. And there's a lot of different exciting things happening on that end of business with me. So mentorships, programs, courses, all kinds of stuff to really support you. Okay, good. So don't be shy. Make sure that you comment if you are looking for those kinds of trainings, outlets, support working with me. All right, so I think we're ready to jump in. And so I want to start with the message from Gaia first. So she showed me an image. The very first thing was actually like a clairvoyant image. Now, I am not an artist, so I'm going to but let me tell you what it is, because otherwise you're like, what am I looking at? Okay, it's so she showed me this vision of like if the globe, Gaia herself, like the planet, had like her top taken off, like just the lid taken off, and then inside were these like rippling layers of Gaia. They were like rippling outwards, like a wavelength flowing out. So every layer inside the planet was starting to like heat up and wave outwards. This is a terrible drawing, but that's basically what it looks like. I know, it looks like a gobstopper if you ever had those candies, but basically like each one of these layers, but it starts in the center. Everything that she is changing, everything that she is growing into, everything that she is ascending into, all of like the changes in her frequency, they start at the center and then they slowly like ripple outwards, and those, it looked like those layers were like moving. Anyway, so it goes from inner earth, the shifts in her awareness, higher frequency, higher awareness, the ascension. It starts at the core of Gaia and then it flows outwards, but it has to move through each layer and then finally arrive on the surface. And so we have like a much less potent version of the truth of what's going on in the center of Gaia at her core, where she is, right? I always see like the soul of our planet in this crystal, huge crystal quartz, like in the center of the planet, and that's where her soul is. And so in that core, it feels very much like hot, fiery energy of those higher frequencies. And she was saying that there's a lot going on under the surface that we are not experiencing yet, right? It takes its time moving outwards. So it reminded me of like in space when a star explodes, right? When something big changes in our galaxy, it takes light years to make its way to us. So it'll look the same for us for a long time, maybe. And then the image will slowly start to change, but it's like it happened hundreds of years ago, and we're just seeing the explosion of the star happening in the sky now. It takes time for it to make its way to us, and that's what this feels like as well. So she was saying that, this is Gaia, was saying the Schumann readings are only a fraction of the real activity that is going on in the center of the earth. And I know that the Schumann resonance is set up to read deep into the earth, but still it's not reading like the core of the earth, right? It really is reading a lot more of the surface level frequencies. And by the time it makes it that far, it's slowed down because that powerful surge of energies that Gaia is outputting would get slowed down with each layer that stops it, like, so I think that makes sense. And then this really interesting information came through that higher frequencies always feel warmer. And I was like, that is so true, because haven't you ever worked with like higher dimensional beings to do healings? If you're a healer or you're a coach, whenever I'm doing a healing or if I'm doing a channeling or if I'm doing something like that, my body temperature gets so hot and I have to crack a window and you're sweating, and like it's very warm work that we do as spiritual leaders. And so it makes so much sense that the higher the frequency, the hotter the temperature of that energy, because the higher the frequency, the faster it's moving, and it creates all that friction and heat. And the lower dense energies that are in a lower frequency are a lot slower moving, and they're a lot colder and a little more like, what's the word, like not as flexible, like they're a little more, I don't have the word, but like colder, slower moving, lower frequency, and then high frequency, very fast moving, very hot, warm energy, very flexible energy, can easily move and shift. And this is more like stubborn or stiff energy. Okay, so I just thought that was really interesting, because that seems like so obvious because of all the experiences that I've had sweating my ass off doing healings and all these things. But think about this as proof of that. Think about this really interesting fact. Tropical vibes tend to always be the earth environment during a golden era. Like if you've ever channeled or tuned into Lemuria, when earth was still one continent instead of separate, it always comes to me, the vision always comes to me as like tropical. Like it's islandy, it's warm, it's like a very warm time on the whole earth. And that would make sense with this because during these golden eras, Earth is in a much higher frequency. She's above 5D. She might be into 6, maybe higher dimensional frequencies of these, up into beyond love, into joy and bliss and oneness and peace and working together. And it's so warm on the Earth during those eras. So that makes me wonder, is the Earth heating up? Everybody's all worried about the Earth heating up. Is it heating up because we're just ascending? Is it heating up because we're just like moving into this golden era? And I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with that. A lot of people really believe in like climate change and all of that. But I know that if you study the Earth's cycles, that as she moves, we know that there is something called a precession cycle, and I've done a lot of videos on what that is. Gaia never stays in one state. She golden era at the top, Lemuria, and then she started moving down into Atlantis, Egypt, and then way down into medieval, like dark times, and then back up witch hunts, and then back up, and then back up, and then back up, and we're coming up onto this cusp of slowly moving back into that golden era. I see us at like 10 o'clock, and 12 o'clock is kind of like the golden era in the time. So that could be like maybe 2,000 years, or it could be 200 years, who knows? But we're definitely moving into these warmer temperatures as we move into a golden era. And does that mean that like the ice ages were when we spiraled downwards in our frequency? Because Gaia, like I said, is never stuck in one. She won't stay in the golden era. She will continue to move around this cycle. It's called the precession cycle, and it has to do with the photon belt of Alcyone and like the trajectory of the path that Earth takes in our sun and our galaxy, or not our galaxy, our personal solar system, the pathway that it takes. And it moves through darkness and it moves through light. And that is why Earth is school. It's very natural. It's not supposed to always be in the dark ages. It's not supposed to always be in the golden ages. It's this just ongoing transitions. And whenever you decide to visit Earth is the experience that you'll have depending on where it is. Anyway, that's all to say that like maybe the climate has cycles because the ascension has cycles. So I don't know. That's what came through for me, but take what resonates, leave the rest, of course. All right, so that was Gaia, just a little bit of like visions and information, but I do have a message from her. She said it's really important for us to be more flexible because the more that we're trying to control things equals the amount of fear still left in our system. So when we're trying to control people's reactions, when we're trying to control the events of our lives, when we're trying to manipulate or control how things are going to go, that equals fear. That equals fear because you don't trust. Right? The more that you embody the desire that you have, it's like your body is the most powerful manifestation tool. Okay, if you can embody the desire and hold it in your physical form, that is how you create that desire. It's not outside of you. Okay, so a lot of people are thinking that in order to get the results and the desires and the dreams and the timeline that they want, that they have to try to control the things on the outside. And that is actually like fear frequency and will not help you at all. Will actually backfire big time. And it's just a sign that you're not trusting. So the more that you can embody what you're trying to accomplish. So what does that mean? It's like a blueprint inside of what the version of you that you want to become, or the version of you that has what you want to have, or is living on the timeline or the life that you want to live on. What would their energetic blueprint look like, right? Where is their frequency? What are the condition of their chakras? What is their mindset? The belief structures? What is their energetic blueprint? Emotions too. And then embodying that now, right? Like deciding, okay, I know what that person, and you can do this through meditation and really trying to connect with your highest human self, which is helpful. But you can also like write down, like journal out exactly what you want to feel like, exactly what you want your day to feel like, exactly what, it's more about how do you want to feel? How do you want to be? It's about beingness more than havingness, if that makes sense. So again, if you can learn to embody the blueprint of the version of you that has the life that you want to have, and stop worrying about controlling the outer stuff and put all of your focus on this energetic blueprint, and then move on from that in flow, right? So I know that we'll talk about this more because this comes up again in Metatron's message as well. It was like definitely a theme of energetics coming in for May, but it's really about us needing to become the masters of this now. We really need to step out of victim mentality big time, okay? Victim mentality is a sleeping pill. You just keep taking that sleeping pill, you're never going to change your life. It's up to you to decide, what does the energetic blueprint look like, feel like, and then to embody that. And that takes work, and it takes effort, and it takes time, but it needs that consistency from you for it to really take. And then it's also important, though, to, once you embody that, to allow yourself to move on from it, where, okay, that's just my new state of being now, and I'm not trying to control that either, because you really don't want to be in like holding on to things and trying to control things. We want to embody, and we want to move on and flow, which means that we are in a state of flow. We're in that flexible, warmed up, hot energy, that high frequency energy where we can, you know, twist and dodge with life and move and flow, because even if the outward plan changes, it doesn't crush us, because the real reality is on the inside, right? You guys know that your reality is created from within. It's not created from outside. And I've used this example a lot, but it's like a movie theater. So if you wanted to change something on the screen of a movie theater, like the movie's playing and there's a scene that you don't like, and you're like, no, no, no. And you walk up to the screen of the movie and you try to change it there, it's just a blank screen. That's like your life. Your life is like a blank screen. It's just being projected onto. It's just like a blank space where you're projecting your reality onto it. But the truth of the reality is in the heart and in the body, and that's the projector, right? Your heart is your projector. And so whenever we want to change anything in our lives, it's always an inside job. It's always about going within, right? So this message coming through from Gaia was about being more flexible, letting go of trying to control outer things, because that equals fear and you not trusting, and that's gonna sabotage you. It's about embodying the blueprint of your desired self, and then moving on while being in flow still. Like just knowing that that is solid, giving it the attention it needs every day. But other than that, surrendering to what the day has to bring you, like being so open and curious with life and accepting, and not in resistance of what comes onto your path, knowing that if you are embodying the blueprint of the version of you that you want to be, then everything's perfect, right? You know, whatever it is that comes onto your path, it's meant for you. And we don't push it away. No, that I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that. We can't be in resistance like that. It's about embodying that blueprint and then trusting. Okay, if this is on my path, this is a part of it then. I don't know how yet, but I know that I'm going to trust, and I'm going to just go with it, right? I'm going to deal with it as best as I can, and I'm going to keep turning back within. Am I still embodying the blueprint of the version of myself I want to be? Does it still feel like that? Or have I slipped backwards? And if you have, that's okay. But it's all about maintaining that inner vibe, okay? All right. And again, what she said is your body is the most powerful manifestation tool. Embody the desire. It's never outside of you. Okay, good. So we're going to move on from Gaia's message over to the Council for Humanity. And here's what they had to say about the month of May. They said that you can honor and respect the earth experience without joining in the misery. It's not bypassing if you're observing and learning from it, but you can't help and assist if you put yourself in it as well. So things like the recession, the war, civil unrest, those are real things that many, many people are experiencing. And you can observe, you can learn, but your greatest healing, the greatest way for you to be of assistance, comes from an exterior timeline and a higher perspective. And if you think about it of yourself like the life raft or the lighthouse, okay, you are the life raft, you are the lighthouse, you are not there to go down with the ship. How does that help? Right? So a lot of people are getting really tangled up and not understanding how to handle like the 3D collective timeline dramas. And they feel like, well, I need to be in it too, because I'm here to be on Earth and I'm here to have a human experience. And that's maybe true for some people, but for the awakened starseed, for us, the awakened starseed collective, we're here to be of assistance using our skills as these master creators and to shift things. But we can't do that if we go down with the ship. So as much as you can honor and as much as you can respect what's happening right now on the earth and all of these like really difficult situations and very worldwide real things, you can't help from inside of that place. When you just join the misery, how do you help, right? So we have to remember that it comes, the best assistance that we will ever be able to give to humanity and to the earth is from an exterior timeline and a higher perspective. Be the life raft, be that lighthouse, okay? So this might look like, this happened to me today. So being on a phone call with family that is very much ingrained in the negativity and in the fear, right? Really understanding that they are living constantly in a fear narrative, and so having compassion for them, but it also looks like still holding your own reality almost apart from that. So on the phone I was saying a lot of things like, well, I really understand how you feel, I really understand what you're saying, I can really see what you're saying, however, I'm having a different experience than that, right? So just by doing even that small amount, you can really be the example in that way. So loving detachment from the fear narrative, but compassion for those who are really in it, right? Does that make sense? I hope that that all kind of lines up for you. So I really like the visual of that you are the life raft or even the lighthouse on the shore, and you're not here to go down with the ship. You're here to show the other way, to show another way, which is that higher perspective, and which is the potential for what we can be. And if we don't have enough people focusing on the new earth potential and all these new earth citizens, then we all kind of get lost in the muck, right? So we really need to kind of keep a clean understanding of what we're here to do, okay? And again, this is not about bypassing, because you want to honor and respect and be compassionate to everything that is going on in the world and really be the observer of it, the sacred observer of what is going on, but still not going down with the ship, okay? Good. All right, so that was from the Council for Humanity. And then the last one is from Metatron. So basically, all three messages have a real theme to think about, because that means that this is the theme of May. It's all about inner energetics. It's all about the embodied blueprint within you, and that it's only you is deciding what that is, okay? Your energetic blueprint inside of you can be outdated and not helping you. It can be like current to the world conditions and not helping you, or it can be this higher energetic blueprint of something that you're really aspiring to be and call in. And then it's up to you to really hold it and be consistent with that, okay? So Metatron says it always comes back to your frequency. Have you ever noticed that this is always the answer? No matter what question you ask, it's like when you ask a higher dimensional being about anything, they always just bring it back to the frequency, right? And it's about alignment of that frequency first, then action. We always have to remember that we need to get aligned before we take action in our lives, in our work, in our jobs, in our relationships, in everything, anything that we're trying to create. You want to put the blueprint of embodiment in place before you start building, because you need the blueprint first before you start building anything, right? So really think about that. That's the first place to start, and this is what May is about. It's really about getting really clear on the blueprint, making sure it's installed, and then working on embodying it every single day. You are here as masters of creation to assist. And the way that we assist is a frequency blueprint, the embodiment, hold it, aligned action, hold it, but also remembering that we need to flow at the same time. So I think that can be where the disconnect happens for people, because they're thinking, well, if we are just supposed to be in flow and surrender to whatever, then it feels pointless and aimless. And that would, if that's all that you were doing, but that's not what you're doing. That's just an important part of something more solid. It's about downloading, installing that frequency blueprint of the version of yourself that you want to be, and then making sure that you are living from that place and embodying that energy every day, which means, how would that version of me react in this situation? How would that version of me greet the day in the morning? How would that version of me eat? Or what kind of hobbies would they have? Or in this difficult situation, how would my highest self react? It's like we just keep checking in. And every time we make a choice from that place, we embody, which solidifies the blueprint within us. Every time you make a choice from that place of your highest human self, you are solidifying something. It's anchoring in deeply. And that is how you embody it. And that is how you hold it as well. Now, and then of course we want to do that before we're taking action. So we want to really be almost like bouncing back and forth between alignment and action, alignment and action. And I do that a lot every day, especially in business. It's like always going to, am I aligned? Let me take a few minutes to tune in, like before this video, for instance. I'm creating a sacred space. I'm tuning into my oversoul. I'm, downloading the information that wants to come through, and I'm getting aligned and embodied, and then I hit record. But that's the action. So it's like, how can you be doing that back and forth in every area of your life? And that could be like, you need to have a difficult conversation, maybe with someone, a relation, like, maybe your relationship or a family member. Well, then that would probably look like you taking a few minutes to yourself, going into a quiet space somewhere and playing out how you want it to go, right? Like feeling into, okay, this is how I want, playing through in your mind the timeline of how it goes, and the result of harmony. And then standing up and going and actually starting the conversation, which is the action. So it's like, get aligned, create it here first, and then go make it happen in the physical. Okay. All right. So where were we? All right. And then the flow, that's where people get, because we've talked about really installing and anchoring in that blueprint through embodiment and learning how to hold it, and then taking the aligned action and then hold it some more. But then the flow piece is, Gaia talked a little bit about this in this video. The flow piece is to not try to control everything either. Because when you're taking aligned action from that place, allow it to be surprising, right? Allow, like, okay, well, I went into my timeline special place within, and I played out exactly how I wanted that situation to go. But now that I'm ready to take the action and to go into the physical world and act it out, it's not going according to plan exactly. And it's like, it's okay, because the frequency is there, and how you played it out in your mind is how you wanted it to go, but this is actually for the highest good of all involved. So then we trust, then we surrender, then we flow. Okay, awesome. And then one last thing here from Metatron was, any delays that you are experiencing are more about inconsistent frequency. So you're not holding it consistently. Then the delays are about like divine timing. And he said, like, a lot of people are actually using divine timing to bypass doing the inner work. Oh, it didn't happen. I guess it's just not the right time. Oh, divine timing, divine timing. And I say divine timing a lot too. So it's like something that I really need to look at as well. It's like, is it not happening because of divine timing, or is it not happening because I didn't align before I took action? Because I didn't do the inner stuff first. If I didn't embody the frequency of that version of myself before I went and tried to make it happen. And so let me just backtrack and let me do that. And then let me try again, instead of just saying, oh, it didn't work. That's a little bit more of like a bypassing energy. So I just thought that was really interesting and worth sharing. Delays are about inconsistent frequency, not always divine timing, right? So just try again with a more consistent and aligned frequency. Okay. And remember that I've seen something happening lately. I was just talking to Brian about this. We've really noticed that people that are in their victim mentality also tend to have like a strong side of entitlement to them. And it's interesting because you wouldn't think that those two things would go together, but if you look at the examples of the people in your family or the people that you know are in their victim mentality, don't they also have a bit of an entitled energy to them? Almost like, well, I'm playing the game, like the 3D game of this victimhood. So I deserve this and I deserve that. And it's really weird. And that is a really toxic combination. Um, to be in that victimhood mentality where, well, it's not happening for me, like why, and giving your power away. And then the entitlement of that, like, nastiness almost, where it's like, well, it should have, and then you're really sinking low into like some lower frequency. So I've seen some people almost directing this energy towards, I've seen it directed towards me a little bit, where people are very much in their victimhood and then they're entitled about it. Like, well, they think that they're entitled to, everything that I have to offer, all my services and all my freebies and all my everything. And it's like, so you might, and that's like a business thing, but I see it in my personal life too. It's just something worth mentioning. Definitely look for that within yourself. But also just notice now that I said that, the next time that you think that you see someone in their victim mentality, do they also act entitled at the same time? And why do those two things go together? Like, what a toxic combination. So that's just something to steer clear of, have some strong boundaries around that toxic energy. So really interesting. But remember that we need to take responsibility. And that last sentence from Metatron was all about taking responsibility. It's like those delays that are happening, it's not always about, oh, divine timing. It's about you're being really inconsistent in your embodiment, right? Oh, that was a lot. Okay. That was a lot of different thoughts, but it has one giant theme for May, which is all about embodiment and energetics and how everything starts from that place, and that you truly are here as an awakened starseed. You're here to be of assistance through being this master of creation. And we can't do that if we're just sinking alongside everybody else, going down with the ship, right? So let me know what your thoughts are on this, and if you've also noticed some of these themes rising up for you as well. I think a lot of people are gonna feel a lot of this as they go into May, but this gives like a language to it, instead of just feeling a little bit befuddled about, whoa, like, why am I experiencing all these delays, or why am I feeling like so helpless, or why when I try to control everything does it fall apart? And it's like, it really makes everything so clear. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I want to remind you that to subscribe to this channel, and also if you are ready to discover and master your gifts, comment psychic below, the word psychic, and I will send you comment the link to my free training, my Psychic Foundations training. And then if you are ready to move into empowerment frequency, babe, about your business, you're not just a business owner, you are a CEO of a friggin' soul empire that supports your every women dream and is so beautiful. It's like an extension of you and it's so fulfilling. If you're ready for that, then comment CEO and I will hit you up with some options and ways to work with me. Other than that, thank you so much for being here for another video. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you, beautiful starseeds. Have a great day.